Clifford, are you ready for your interview? Clifford, hey, don't be shy. We're so excited to talk to you today about your new movie. Can you come a little closer? Wow, you must be so excited for this movie, right? Hey, can you show us some cool tricks? Wow, those are so good, Clifford. You deserve a treat. Hey, now do you have a favorite sport that you like to play? Wow, I love to play soccer too. Maybe we can play together sometime. Hey, can you tell us when and where everyone can watch Clifford? We can't wait to see Clifford the Big Red Dog in theaters and on Paramount Plus coming up November the 10th. Hey, Tony, how are
Greg,
you?
I love your background. Oh my gosh. It's so good.
Thank you. Yeah, check it out. It was actually this way even before the pandemic, but then just began to add, more stuff.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love The Wizard of Oz, Charlie Chaplin. Oh, it's awesome.
Great. Great, great. Well, welcome to the basement. We always have a good time down here.
It's so great.
And this is where I watched your movie Clifford with my grandson, who just got the biggest kick out of it.
Oh, how old is your grandson?
6 years old. And
Oh, sweet.
and it's funny because the Clifford book came out when I was 6 years old. So it's kind of this great thing
Yeah.
to go along with the family. And
Oh, I love that. Did he enjoy it?
oh, he did. He did because
Oh, good.
I want a dog like that one. Yeah, we're gonna have to get a bigger house.
Yeah, exactly. Here's some things about truth where that's not going to happen, but that's a sweet thing.
Right. This also had to be fun for you because that's the best part about being the
Totally.
diabolical person in a kid's movie.
Yeah.
He's more comical, than devious.
Yeah, yeah. He's more comical and he wants to I mean, the sad thing is he wants to exploit Clifford whereas everybody else wants to embrace and support and love and he wants to exploit, but it's fun to play the dark side. Speaking of the dark side, I see Darth Vader right there. So
Yep.
Darth Vader understands.
Yes, he does. You never know which way it's
He
going.
gets see him and I enjoy playing the dark side.
Uh,
We have that in common.
Wait for Clifford too. And if you come on wearing a mask, I'm going to go,
Yeah.
that's because of my basement. Tony
That
saw
was
that.
because of Greg. It was Greg's basement.
Great. How about you? When you were growing up, did you read the Clifford books and all like that?
I did. I feel like Clifford has been a staple in the house since I was born. I mean, it came out in 1963. I was born in 1970. I mean, it's like it's always been around. It was in my house growing up. It was in my house when my daughter was young, and it's very surreal stepping into this world. I mean, and when you're doing it, you're so thankful for the job, and it's fun, and you're working with puppeteers, and then you see the finished product, and you're like, that's a big red dog walking around New York City. It's crazy.
Right. I asked Darby the same thing. It's like, what was it like, when you first saw this? And it's like you said, you're looking at a tennis ball or whatever. When you're shooting,
Yeah.
it's like he's real.
He's real, and you really, I think honestly, Greg, there's like the excitement of, because you're playing these puppeteers. I have huge admiration for all these special effects. I mean, the work that they put into this is so insane, but it's exciting because while you're working with it, all you can think about is, oh my gosh, I wonder what this is going to look like for the finished product. Like that scene which you saw where Darby is riding on the back of Clifford and going through the city at the very end. I mean, that is some serious work and serious detail. So it's always exciting thinking what it's going to look like.
I can imagine. But Tony, this was a fun movie. And I got to tell you, I've had the most fun talking to you and the other cast members today. I mean,
Oh, thanks, Greg.
it really has. It's really been very, very special. But thank you
I'm
very much.
inspired. I'm inspired by your background, and I'm gonna have to find some paraphernalia to do on mine because I need to up my Zoom game after seeing yours.
Ah, great. Anything you need to know, have them give you my number. Call me. I'll tell you and
Yeah,
get you all
great.
the
Oh,
stuff you
good,
need.
good, awesome.
All right.
Thanks, Greg.
Tony, thanks so
Bye.
much. Take care. Gentlemen, good to see you. How are you today?
Very
Great.
good.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
Good to
Appreciate
see
it.
Good to see you. And enjoyed this movie. I got to watch it with my 6-year-old grandson. And I'll start with you, Jordan, first. Clifford came out when I was his age. What is it about him that has just been so endearing over all these years?
I think the simplest and boiled down to its most salient is the fact that there's a story of unconditional love in the books between a 6, 7-year-old girl and this dog, and in our movie when we took her out, she moved from Bridwell Island to Manhattan, and then went to a new school and had all those things that we wanted to age her up a little bit. I think that the love between this girl and this dog is so important, the unconditional nature of it. And coming into a new city, she's going to need that love to make the adjustments. She really has felt out of place in this move. I think she feels not abandoned by her mother because she loves her mother and they're very close, but the mother has to work to support that family. And this is providing a sort of big hug wraparound for her in her life and in her growth. And in a very diverse community like Harlem, we are able to surround them with what the whole neighborhood actually is, which is a complete melting pot. And so unconditional love spreads throughout that community.
No, that's for sure. And that was beautiful to see. And Walter, you're the director of the film. You had a tremendous cast here to work with. I mean, such nice folks. Talk a little bit about, just having them all get together and put the story on, especially with a dog that they probably did not see, when you were doing the movie.
Yeah, no, that's right. We got so fortunate to work with like legends of mine, John Cleese. That was definitely a bucket list. But everybody from Jack and Darby and Russell Peters and Paul Rodriguez, David Allen Grier. Oh my gosh, I've loved him forever since In Living Color. So like when you're like, oh, he's here and this guy's there, it's been great. And then what we realized, even with all these great actors, is that when you have a lead character that's basically just air, when you're shooting, we were going to have to come up with some version of a stand-in for Clifford that would work. And I saw a play on in New York, Warhorse, and that was puppeted by 2 people, and I could not believe how close they got to a real horse. And so we said, why don't we try to build something like that? And so we built a articulated puppet that the mouth could move and the neck, and these puppeteers we hired were so good. They really, I mean, when you felt Clifford was sad, you could see it even in the puppet. Oh my gosh, he's sad, he's happy, and so it gave our actors good sight lines, but more than that, gave them actual emotion that they could kind of take back and forth.
Absolutely. And also what you mentioned about David Allen Grier, fellow Detroiter. Thanks for giving us Detroit people a job. So that is good.
Yes.
Glad to see him. And also I did just get done talking to John Cleese, and I agree with you. That was a bucket list and he was just fabulous. But gentlemen, thank you both so very, very much for your time. And I'll watch it again with my grandson. So thanks so much.
Hey, thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you. Take care. Hi, good to see you both. How are you?
Very good.
Good,
Thank
how are you?
Good, good. Enjoyed the movie very much. Like I've told people, I watched it with my 6-year-old grandson, which was great. He wants me now to get him a big red dog. I told him, said, I don't know where we're going to put it, but I'll do my best. But Darby, like your character, she saw this beautiful little puppy, didn't know it was going to grow up that big, but they just had a very special relationship though, didn't they?
They really did. Clifford and Emily have a relationship like none other, I think, and she found him before he was big and I mean he was red, but before he was big, and so she accepted him just for being red, and then he became big, and she was like, "All right, well, you're big now, I guess, and we're just gonna have to live with it, and that's fine." And so we get to see how their relationship grows and how she tries to keep him safe at all costs, and how Clifford tries to keep her safe as well.
Right. And Jack, here you are. You're the uncle, which I guess people call now the funkle, the fun uncle,
Uncle.
who
Yeah.
who ends up being in charge. And it's one of those where he's there, he's helping, his niece and also the dog. But for some reason, just all types of weird things begin to happen with them.
Yeah. I mean, yes, it's not a great advertisement for babysitting for your niece. Like everything that could go wrong does go wrong, and he has this crazy weekend, this wild adventure. He starts the movie out, my character, as being quite kind of feckless and irresponsible, but by the end of it, I think he's kind of stepped up to the plate and has grown a little bit in maturity and responsibility. And so he was such a fun character to play.
And Darby, I have to ask you this. What was it like when you actually got to see the final product? Because of course, when you're, doing it, there's no real cliff, right there in front of you. But you get to see this on screen and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, watching it for the first time it was just so special, and this movie is I'm so proud of it, and it's so special to me. And filming was kind of weird too because I didn't know what to expect it to look like. I knew that they were going to make Clifford realistic. I just didn't know, like, no one's ever seen a realistic Clifford, so I didn't know exactly what to expect. And then finally watching it, I was just blown away about how amazing it turned out and how talented the special effects artists are. And I'm just so excited for everyone else to see this brilliant movie.
It is, like I said, it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it goes to show, just people all loving each other and, working together. When you do that, things turn out fine. And Jack, I just have to say this. I guess the irony of all ironies is in the movie when you were making fun of your sister who was, born in England and your character was born in the US, you made fun of her accent. But now I'm hearing you and it's like, that's great.
Yeah, it's a very meta joke in the movie, that moment where I start mocking her for her English accent, and hopefully hopefully there will be some people that don't realize that I'm actually English and just think it's me as an American doing an amazing English accent. But for those of the audience that do know that I'm actually a Brit, it'll be a little kind of Easter egg, a little bit of meta fun.
It really is. And most Americans, when we try it, we're just terrible at it.
It always goes Dick Van Dyke.
Right. Guys, Darby, Jack, thank you both so very, very much for your time. Enjoyed it and going to watch it again with my grandson. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
John Cleese, how are you, sir?
How are you, Greg?
Doing well. Good to see you.
You're in Detroit. I remember going there once and finding you had this absolutely magnificent art museum. And I didn't expect to find it in Detroit, but of course, once that was where the real money was.
Absolutely. Well, we have to get you back here because we'll take you there, because that was, if anything, the Detroit Institute of Arts. And also another place I know you'd love would be the Motown Museum.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes. It's an interesting place, Detroit. It sounds pretty Midwestern, but it's actually great, particularly compared with Cleveland. It's not kind to compare anything with Cleveland, is it? I'm not talking about Carol Cleveland. I'm talking about the town.
Right. I was going to make the joke. I was going to say, I've loved you forever, and now I love you even more. That's great.
What a dump.
Also loved you in this movie. I wish when I was growing up, I could have met a man like Mr. Bidwell.
Yeah.
Just where he's magical. He's got all this great stuff, and it just looks like a fun guy to hang out with, doesn't he?
Yes, and there's something wise about him and a little bit mysterious. You kind of know that he knows more than he ought, and you can rely on him because he's entirely benevolent. Yeah, it's a lovely part to play because the other nice thing about it is it's much easier than comedy.
Yeah. I can imagine, yeah.
People always think that sort of comedy is the poor relation of drama, and it's much harder. Anyone who can do both will tell you that comedy is much harder. So it was very nice just to play a character and try and be an interesting character without the sort of necessity to employ comedy technique and all that stuff.
But no, you're absolutely right. I've told that to people before myself. I tried, stand-up comedy and different things back in the day. And you're right. It's like, you've got to have the timing, you've got to have the pacing. You can't just throw out stuff that you think is funny. You've got to know how to present it.
That's right. You got to get the inflection right. You got to get the timing right. You don't have to bother with that if you're doing straight acting. You just have to be believable,
Mm-hmm.
Not difficult, which is why there's so many very good actors around.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. I was going to say again, and enjoyed you so much in this movie. Enjoyed you so much over the years. And this has just been a complete, absolute pleasure to talk to you. Come to Detroit. I'll take you on a tour.
All right. I'd like to do that. Okay, Greg, I'll give you a call.
Please do. All right. You heard that.
Get someone to give me your number. All right.
All right. Sounds good. Ask anybody there.
All right.
They've all got it. John, thank you so much.
Great pleasure.